All right, in this folder, I'm going to walk you through how to complete the Word Module 1 activity. So we're going to be in Word Module 1, and we're going to go down to the Word Module 1 directions just to review what we need to do here. So it says to complete this module, you will need to do all the tan boxes and all the steps in those tan boxes found on pages WD1 through WD54. To find those pages, they're going to be in the blue colored section, kind of the lighter colored blue, the pretty sky blue. And again, we're going to be looking at pages WD1 through WD54. Throughout this module, we are actually going to be creating 3 documents. We're going to be creating a letter, we're going to be creating an envelope, and we're going to be creating a flyer. And you can see that these activities are actually worth points that you are going to turn into me for grading. In order to complete this activity, there are 2 data files that you need to complete it, those called vinyl and albums. Okay, so again, I have that folder on my desktop called Intro to Computers. I'm going to go into the Word folder, Word 1, Module, and there are the 2 files that I need to start working with. So to get started, we are actually going to skip several of the first beginning pages here, and we're going to start at the bottom of page 6. So again, on page WD6. And what they want us to do is they want us to actually just open up Microsoft Word. So we're not going to start with these files yet. We're just going to go ahead and open up Word. So I'm going to minimize that so I can open up Word. So if I go to my bottom left-hand corner, a lot of people call this the Start menu. And in alphabetical order, we're going to locate the W for Word. So, and also, you can click on the magnifying glass and type in Word to locate it. Now, you're going to notice that this is actually Word 2013, and we are actually learning Word 2016. This is my apology. I'm actually kind of borrowing a computer for this video. But it should be sufficient. It should be okay. They look very, very similar. And with it being a basic intro to Word, we should be okay here. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Word 2013. And then we're going to go ahead and just open up a blank document. So I'm going to click on the blank document. And before we do a whole lot, they want us to set up our windows so that we have similar windows here. So before I do that, though, I want to talk about some vocab words. So in any Office program, there are a few words that are used a lot. So the first word that is used a lot is the word called tab. So this is our Home tab, this is our Insert tab, Design tab, Page Layout tab, References tab, Mailings tab, Review tab, and the View tab. Okay. Now, each tab has another vocab word called ribbon. So each tab has this huge thing that opens up called the ribbon. So in the Insert tab, here again is our ribbon, and there's a lot of different options on that ribbon to do things. If I go back to the Home tab, you're going to notice that there's a lot of buttons here on the ribbon. So what Office does is they have a third vocab word they use a lot, which is called groups. So instead of trying to locate a button on the ribbon, which is huge within a tab, they break it down into smaller things called groups. So this is our clipboard group. This is the font group, the paragraph group, the styles group, and then the editing group. So what your book will do is it'll use those words to help you find things quicker if you know how to use these vocab words to your advantage. So for instance, instead of it saying on the Home tab, locate the bold button on the ribbon, which that doesn't take too long because most people know where the bold button is. But if I chose a button that you didn't know, you can see how time consuming it would be to locate that button that you need. So instead, what your book probably will say is go to your Home tab. On the ribbon, locate the font group. In the font group, locate the bold button. So you can see how that narrows down your focus. Okay. So to get started, again, I'm back in your book now on page 6. It says on the ribbon, click the Home tab. And we are going to locate the paragraph mark button in the paragraph group. So on a ribbon, we're going to locate the paragraph group. And in the upper right-hand corner, this is what we call our non-printing character marks. We're going to go ahead and turn those on for this activity. Page 7. Top of page 7, the tan box there says we're going to learn how to save this document. So on the Quick Access toolbar, the Quick Access toolbar is right here in the upper left-hand corner. We're going to go ahead and click on the Scan Disk so that we can save our document. Now, I would encourage you guys to probably save your activities in that folder that's on your desktop with all of your data files. So I'm going to go out to my desktop. I'm going to locate that folder called Intro to Computers. And they then tell us on page 8 to go ahead and save this letter as Brooks letter. Now notice I did not type anything in here about Intro to Computers or Renee Smith or fall semester or your name or anything of that matter. I just simply typed in the file name they told me to type in, which is Brooks letter. I go ahead and hit save, and my title bar now tells me that I have a file called saved as Brooks letter. On page 9, that is actually the file that we are going to be typing. So as you can see, there is going to be some typing involved here. Page 10, to get started, we're going to use something called autocomplete to put in our date. So we're going to type in the first few letters of the month of February. And by typing in those first few letters, it pops up autocomplete. So by typing in the first few letters of any month, autocomplete can, by pressing enter, put in the remaining letters for us. So I'm going to go ahead and press enter, followed by the space key, and finish out the date as February 20th, 2017, pressing the enter key twice. Now I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in my window just to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see. On page 11, then, they ask us to type in the address of the person that we are mailing this letter to. So we are mailing it to Jayla Brooks, and she lives at 2532, whoops, I'm sorry, I didn't have my numlock on there, 2532 Brandywine Trail in Wilmington, Delaware at 19802. Okay, press the enter key. On over to page 12 is where we are going to type in Dear Jayla. Enclosed, you will find my appraisal of your jazz and classical collection. Okay, so I had a little spelling error there, but okay, so I got those two sentences typed in them, and then they have us add what we call a hyperlink. So if you have any questions, you can contact me at Villa Rio Records at Cengage.com. Now, when I press the enter key, oops, that was my fault here. So let me put a period there. I press the enter key, it turns that email address into what we call a hyperlink. So if I put my cursor over it, you can notice that if I press down Control and click on that link, it will automatically go out to my Outlook and open up this email for this email address already put in there for us. But because we are actually going to be printing this and mailing it to Jayla, there's no need to have the hyperlink on. So to remove the hyperlink, and this is on the top of page 13, it says that we are going to right-click on our hyperlink, and we are simply going to tell it to remove it. And notice now it goes back to plain Jane text. Now, I'm not going to make you guys do the bottom of page 13 or 14 or 15 or 16 for that matter, but I do want you to read that. So go ahead and review that so that you're familiar with how to use those options. On page 17, this is where we're going to finish up our letter here. So we're going to go ahead and type in Sincerely Yours. And we're going to hit the enter key 3 times. We're going to type in Leo's name, pressing the enter key. And then we're going to type in our initials. So I'm on page 17 on step 5. It says to type in your first, middle, and last initial to give ownership to this letter since we're typing it for Leo. When you press the enter key, though, you're going to recognize that it automatically capitalizes the first letter of our initial, which is not what we want to happen. So on step 6, it says on the quick access toolbar, click the undo button. So we're going to go back up to our quick access toolbar, and we're going to click the undo button to take it back to lowercase. On step 7, then, it just tells us to go ahead and type in the word enclosure, because we're going to enclose that appraisal that we did of her on her vintage records. And then on step 8, it tells us to go ahead and save the document. Now, when I